Alright then, with the Broomer recommendation received, and if you guys are ready to go, we're going to be heading back to the south, and I'm going to be following along this road right here. Of course, the main objective is going to be the Chorrol Mage Guild recommendation. If you guys want to skip ahead for that, you can do. But I like to come across here. We should have a well along this road, and another Ayleid ruin, which is going to continue feeding my blue crystal addiction that we have. So we're just going to pass on through. I just want to say, you know, if you put up with my weird idiosyncrasies when I'm talking and stuff into a microphone, it's really weird how, particularly when I'm starting to say something, I don't know, I get like this weird stutter thing that goes off. So if you've endured it, I thank you a lot as we continue our adventure. There will be other points of interest we can look at, but I really want to concentrate on those Ayleid ruins in terms of as we're going through the game. I did actually level when I went around the cave, so just in case somebody wants to see, as I said before, the points went into strength, intelligence, and agility. That's going to continue happening. I feel like the best thing about doing it this way is it means that although the enemies are going to level up a little bit, we should still be able to deal fairly good damage, because, you know, we're going to get the stealth attack with the bow, hopefully most of the time. And we are going to be using our increase in like either mana to level up faster or damage to get through the fight. So we should be pretty good. Best thing about Chorrol is they have some good summons over there. So if we can get our conjuration to 50 before we get, it's not going to get to 50 before we get there, but once you get your conjuration to 50, you can get the Dremora. The Dremora is very powerful, and once we get to 75, we can get the Daedroth, which can basically carry you through the game. So we are going to be targeting our conjuration. I may even do... we don't have the gold for it. There is a trick that we have. You can use the arena. So if you look at the Imperial City, you'll see that the arena is actually marked. You can get into consecutive fights there, and after each fight there is a table that completely restores all of your mana. This means, you know, for the people that really want to boost their conjuration, you can pile all of your mana into your conjuration at the end of the fight, really level up your conjuration skill, and then have it refilled, and you can repeat that probably close to 20 times. It's a lot. So you can really do some work for your conjuration skill in there, or any skill really, because obviously you can cast destruction spells at the enemy that you're facing and everything else that goes along with that. But if you're kind of excited about summoning an enemy, summoning a friend, then that's pretty good for you really. Either way, we're gonna make our way across. I'm still going, and I'm hoping we get to the well soon so that I can show it on the map, but it should be pretty close. I'm still getting my acrobatics up. Really, it's a cheap way to get experience points, and you shouldn't really want to overlevel, but being able to reposition effectively is very nice. And I have realized that actually starting as the high elf over the Breton makes leveling a slight amount more efficient, because we start out with 10 points less in willpower, which obviously are across the rest of the character. So although I put 5 points into luck, I'm probably 5 points up somewhere else on where my Breton started, because the Breton starts with 50 willpower, and that's completely useless to the character build we're doing. Here's our Ayleid well. So as before, just get those free casts on. It's gonna allow me to continue powering up our Atronach's magical abilities. And then, yeah, so from here on the map, yeah, so we're almost at the corner. See where we get this big kind of bend in the road? That is almost equidistant to where the Ayleid ruin is going to be in the middle. So that's where we're going to be heading to right now. And being as there's not really anything else for me to do or show you guys, we're gonna fast forward to there. Alright, so I finished my Ayleid ruin. I just want to show it on the map so that I was kind of, you know, so you guys can see that it's actually there, in case you do happen to struggle finding it. If you want even more Ayleid ruins, there's one around this way, and if you basically like take from here to here as a line and go out this way, you'll find another one up here as well. So there's plenty for you to go ahead, explore, and find if you wish to. I'm going to continue onward to Chorrol. Just kind of talking a little bit as we are walking in the wilds. I'm going to place myself a marker down here. Now be careful, because the main story quest is going to continue at the Waiting Priory. And I want to be an Archmage before we continue that. You can continue at any point you want. The game scales to your level, so you can do pretty much any content. But I like to be, you know, my character to be my character before we start getting into stuff like that. Especially as a mage, because we really want access to the different types of spells and this kind of thing. So that's what we're going to be doing. But I've been thinking about the best use for trainers. So there are NPCs that can increase our skills for money. And obviously early game, we don't have a lot at our disposal. Okay, now as you level, your income is going to increase drastically. By the time we get to like level 10, you're going to find, you know, we've spent a couple of hours playing right now. We've got 300. A couple of hours from now, we'll probably have a few thousand. And then a few hours after that, you'll be into the tens of thousands. It really ramps up as time goes on. And I think the best idea is probably to concentrate on your defensive skills, because I was thinking about maybe leveling up my restoration skill, but I never use it anymore because we have health regen. I'm pretty sure we didn't have that before. We have health regen between combats, so we can use potions during combat and then just regen whatever's after combat. And I think that the thing that's probably going to be most impactful is if you pay to level up your defensive skills, whether that's light armor, heavy armor, or the restoration skill if you're using it. So maybe we'll do something like that. I'll find the heavy armor trainer, and we'll do that. I don't think there's too much between my Iliad Ruin and where we're going. If I see a cave, I'll probably clear it along the way, but you know, a bit more of a fast forward, and we'll be at the doors to Chorrol. Whilst I was out then, I decided I was going to go to this Iliad Ruin. There's something here that I can show you guys. Sometimes we get the Varla stones up on these pedestals where it's directly backed by a wall. Now, unless you have been exceptional at pressing your jump button, you are not yet going to be able to directly jump onto one of these. A small, like, table or something, we would be able to get up onto here. And then you can jump onto this ledge and make your way around. But unless that's the case, the best thing to do is to come over to the side, and you see how we've got this little thing here, the little indent. We can fire through this, and we can knock it off. Now, the reason we want to try and do it from the side is because you can see it can go down the back. But if we can knock it to the side, we can jump on up, and well, if I can stop hitting the ledge, we can jump on up and grab the Varla stones from these high up areas as well, so that we don't have to miss any of them. Okay, so we've made it to Chorrol, and I think it's time we talk about selling stuff, because your inventory is probably looking full. You probably emptied off a couple of times, and you're like, hey, I want to get some cash out of this. Now, of course, going to a shop and selling it is the most basic thing I could say to you, but there's a couple of things that we can talk about, so you can get a little bit more out of what you're selling. Of course, any magical items, such as... Let's go with mage items, not magical items.
Hello.
Such as the alchemical stuff is all going to go to the Mage's Guild, because it's easier for us to get a good deal out of them.
And you can learn a lot.
Don't want to train armor right now. But to start with, you should come into persuasion. Now, she's already pretty high for me, so I'm probably not going to be able to raise her bar. We'll go through persuasion in a second. But we're going to come on into bartering. You can see we have haggle. If you have a good standing with the person you're haggling with, and as your mercantile raises, we can lift this up. There's not really a negative to doing this. So I'm going to put that up a little bit, and then we're going to try and sell something. Now, what you'll notice is Rashida here has a maximum of 1,200 gold in her inventory, but that is not how much she can buy right now. So, for example, I'm going to keep that silver longsword. Let's sell this short sword. You see that the number doesn't actually go down. All it actually means is it's the highest amount she can give you for a single item. So, for example, if these were 1,300 instead of 1,000, then that would still say 1,200, because that's the most expensive item that she can buy. Okay? Now, being as she took that longsword with no problem, let's go ahead and see if we can't raise this a little bit more. Being as I've got a high-ticket item there, I want to get the most I can get out of it. I'm not going to sell Varla stones because they're too important. Let's try selling half of my steel arrows, because I've got silver arrows starting to come in.
You don't expect me to make that deal, do
No,
you?
so I did push it to the correct number at 49. That's good. Now, of course, you can decide to save this for later, but more valuable stuff is going to come along. And for those that played the last Oblivion, it seems like now skill experience is tied to either the level or the number that happens with a certain skill, because there is a mercantilism skill, and as you sell stuff, that's going to rise, going to make it easier for you to get better prices. So we're going to take some bad prices to start with, but once we get rolling, money is going to flow in like it's nothing. And as I said, right, the first few videos we went from 0 to 300, like at a fairly decent rate, and now I've gone from 300 to 3,000 almost in one episode and 2 dungeons. So you can see how this game snowballs quite fast in a lot of ways, and that's going to include the enemies and everything else that we end up fighting against. Let me see if I can't find someone to do the persuasion minigame against. Let's have you. We want to say, if I remember rightly, pleased to meet you to Dharma. She should make a quest for you later whilst we're in Chorrol. It's nothing to do with the Mage Guild, it's just an extra quest you can have for later on. Just a friendly lass that we have to go and save later on. So if we go ahead, talk to you, maybe. Oh, you're Arana. Let me speak to him. Okay, we're going to speak to her very shortly because she's part of the quest we're here for. Let me find an NPC.
Hello. We'll see.
All right, this should work. Right. So we can either pay to have the disposition of a character go up. Now, depending on your persuasion skill, you can get that to go a bit higher. So we're going to go start here. Now, her disposition towards me is going to drain once I start this. So it starts at 51. I'm obviously going to be going a bit slow. So the first time we do this, it might not end up higher, but it will end up higher if you follow what I'm going to say. Let's go on start here. Why does it want to let me? It's not going to let me do it. I guess I'm not high enough to go over 51 with you. Excuse me. Can I have a... What about you? Will you let me do it?
Make it quick.
Yes, okay. Now, look, pay attention to the face. We got not like, not like, okay? Now, the way I like to do this is whenever the lowest rung, you see we got 3 segments, 4 segments, 2 segments, 1. Whenever the lowest segment is on dislike, we do those first, and then we want to do the highest one available for each of the one they like. And we went from the 30s there to 43, you see? Pretty simple, okay? So say that again. He doesn't like, doesn't like, does like, does like. Well, my lowest is on like, so I'm going to take that one. And then we're going to do these 2 low ones here and take that. So that we end up 41. And then again, we've got dislike, dislike, like. Oh no, I did that the wrong way around. Whoops. I guess we're farming it now. So that's dislike, like, dislike. Yeah, dislike, like. So we want to do that, that. There we go. Dislike, like. So because dislike is there, so we want to do that.
I get it.
And that's going to make it go up, right? So you want to target low on the dislike and then as high as you can get on the like. And that's usually, not usually, all of the time going to make you come out of this pretty good. So dislike. So we want to take that one, that one.
That's pretty good.
And there we go. This guy loves me now. 65.
Oh, you're a bit sure. No, you do me too much honor.
Still let me go. This guy's just easy to persuade, I guess.
I'm embarrassed, but thank you.
Now he's my best friend. All right, that gets us through the persuasion skill. Obviously, probably needs its own video. And so with that demonstrated, we can go into repairing, I guess. Repairing's very easy. Being over here, let's get a repair hammer. Let's go over some stuff that we can be doing, because you've probably got some broken gear. Come into your local repair shop.
I'm sure there's something to see.
Or should I say blacksmith. Go to your repair hammers. Pick a few up. You're going to go through them, especially early on. So don't worry about having a few of them in your inventory. You're going to come into here like this. Click on your repair hammer and press repair. Now to start with, when your repair is low, you can't actually repair any magic items that you pick up until we get to... might be 25 or 50. So we do want to get that done pretty quickly because you don't want your magic items starting to break on you in combat. Finally, let's go to the Mage Guild. Where are we? Here we are.
I understand Daedra worship has become increasingly prevalent.
So again, once you're in the Mage Guild, make sure you have a look around. Loot anything that you want. Sell stuff to the merchant, because the good thing about being in the Mages Guild is... when you talk to this guy, he should already like you quite a lot, which means when it comes to selling to the actual Mages Guild themselves, you can have it pretty high and get a good deal for anything that you sell to them. So pretty good. But whilst we're here, we're doing the quest, and Tychius is the leader here. So we're going to go for the red recommendation. Arana, who didn't like us out front. Again, let's just make sure everything is all grayed out before we continue. And now we go to speak to Irana. This quest is also pretty simple and pretty easy.
Good to see you.
If it's daytime, she's usually out front. Do you really hate me? As we saw, dressed in green. Should be pretty easy to spot.
There's a small.
What is it?
Oops, excuse me.
I hear that. You again.
Yes.
You're
So she's telling us to get a book. If you want the quest marker, we go and see Tikius. I think you can do it without the quest marker. You can just go on up there. But I'm siding with the Mage Guild as much as possible because I don't want to be a bad boy. We're going to be the Archmage, so I would expect people to do as they're told for me. So I'm going to do as I'm told for that. Now, the good thing about where we're going to get sent is we're actually going near a rather cool player home, in my opinion. It's expensive, so you can't do everything you'd want to do with it. But we're going to go out anyway, and look at that. Surprise, surprise. We were going to go past that ruin anyway, so you might as well have gone and done it. And we're going to go up to Cloud Top. Now, you want to place yourself a marker at the end of this road, because once we get to Cloud Top, we're going to come down, and that is a castle. That's a player home that we can have there, and a rather nice one. And if you're in my position, also, you're going to get a load of free steel armor for defeating the enemies there. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do that. Alright, back out of the wilderness, making our way up the hill. Shouldn't take us too long to make our way up. There is a path, like a footpath thing, that's not really marked on the map. But you can pretty much just go straight there. So we're going to head straight up the hill here. And of course, we are making our way to the top. We search the corpse. Fingers of the Mountain is received. I'm pretty sure we can take the spell from it as well. No, we can't. Just let us. Okay. So from here, we pretty much just want to go down the hill. You can see there is the castle. That's actually going to be a player home. How cool is that? So we just need to be careful about making our way down. How is that there? I didn't think that could spawn yet. That could be a glitch on my part. I don't know how that's opened. Alright, so that there, that lava-y thing, that is actually quest related. I don't know why I was avoiding them, but I was kind of avoiding them for now, because they're quite a big story event, and I wanted people to have lots of chance to progress the story before we started dealing with things that people might find a bit too spoilery. But I guess that's just not the case. Fort Rails, we've made it to a battle.
I'm just warming up, you pathetic worm.
Susan, buddy, you need to go down.
I fought mud crabs more fearsome than you.
Anyhow. Stop lying. Alright, continue on my way. Marveling at the Oblivion game. I'm so sorry. So, of course, you can clear that out if you want. That's not really what I'm after. Oh, man. So much wildlife. Everything's taking so much to kill right now. Evidence that we need new spells. I have a sword on right now. That was a pathetic shot. Maybe this is going to raise my destruction skill. Oh, my. Alright, with me all nice and caught back up. Back down we go. Just keep on following the hill down till we reach the fort. Now, once we get close, we do need to be careful because there will be about 4 or 5 fairly well-equipped soldiers down there that we need to beat first. Before we can claim the castle for our own. I feel like the game's loading it in now. Because they should be fighting each other. There's 2 sets of guards in here. There's one set that's going to side with us, and one set that's attacking the castle. There we go. Let's go. So don't be afraid. Let's get this damage going out. want to get the mage out because it will buff the its friends. Well, well. Aren't you strong? Let's see how you do in combat, shall we? Healing itself. Like, get off, you. There we go. Don't tell me that a mage doesn't wear armor, because they do. There's my steel armor right there.
You elves are all the same.
Your poor AI. Hit my own skeleton. They're trying to get to the ones in the thing. Has the gate... I thought the gate was normally open. Alright, all done. I think this is glitched. Anyway. Full set of steel armor, let's go. Repair hammers. I don't need claymore. A bit heavy, but it's fine. Let's see what you got for me. Nope, all good. Right, let me do some inventory management. Alright, turns out one of them had dwarven armor. For all that I prefer how steel looks, this is a game based on stats, so I don't really get to choose too much. And now we are able to use Battlehorn Castle.
Yes, ma'am. Certainly.
This will be a set of quests that's up to you to deal with. I'm going to leave it for you, but you can have your own blacksmith and shops and stuff like this in here. I think this one's really cool. But again, we are targeting the Mage Guild, but just want to make sure you guys have access to that. So I'm going to fast travel back and get this quest finished off. So back in Chorrol we are. Where is the Mage Guild? Let's go. I don't fancy siding with the runner. I think you do get better rewards, but I'm not interested in that, to be honest. My reward is enjoying my time playing this with you guys, so I don't need any more than that. Right, let's go to TES. Here you go. Here's your book.
No.
Give me my recommendation.
I'm afraid I can't just write one. If perhaps you can clear...
Oh, now we just have to talk to her, do we? Let's go. Let's get her out of here. Couldn't remember if that finished it or not. She'll be all annoyed. She'll be like, oh, do you want to steal it back? I'm like, no.
Greetings.
I'm not bothered I'm not bothered about this whole toing and throwing thing. Wait, what?
Then what?
Did I not give him the book? I'm clearly rushing dialogue. Apologies.
What is it? What can... You found?
Yeah, here we go. Now do I get my recommendation?
She was on it.
Yeah, there we go. Done.
Farewell.
So that's that finished. I'm going to head upstairs so I can do some sleeping. I've got to get this leveling going on. This dwarven armor's heavy, you know. But we have more of this stuff. So take this to the Mage Guild merchant and you'll be able to get yourself some extra money for free. It's down in a minute. Let me just get all this sorted. Alright, I just noticed that I've done something completely overpowered, and I'm going to make a video about that. I must have accidentally told one of these guys to follow me. Yes, he is now my friend, look. Although, weirdly, once I talk to him, I have to tell him to wait, and then I can tell him to follow me again.
What's going on with
So I now have a bodyguard.
Antihero worship has become increasingly prevalent in the Somerset Isles.
I don't know how he's going to affect my sneaking, but the game just got completely changed by that. But I want some spells before we continue. In particular, I want a new fire spell. So we're going to take Flashbolt here. So we're going to get a fire spell that does more damage, because as you saw, things are starting to get a little bit tougher now. You can get something like life detection as well. So this is going to allow you to increase your mysticism. But yeah, you know, take whatever you feel like you're probably going to want. I've got a bit of gold I can use, so it's not too much of an issue. Something kind of cool, if you want to feel like a magic archer, you can get something like bound bow, but I don't think we have that here. You are eventually going to want one of these spells so you can raise your alteration. We're going to want to lower level one of those. We can get a slightly higher level summon, so I think the Ghost and the Scamp count as higher than the Skeleton, but I'm going to stick with the Skeleton because we're almost, well, I say almost, I'm on 40, and so that means very soon
I offer the finest goods and
we'll be
lowest
using the
prices in
Dremora anyway. So I'm going to take that. I probably can't get that any better, so we're gonna get that, which is going to be amazing. Later on, I will 100% be using the Daedroth, so I could buy that right now as well, but we need 75 for the Daedroth. It's a beast. It's basically an auto-win button against most enemies, so we're obviously going to take that. There's the bound bow, so if you want to feel like a super cool archer, not bad. It only lasts 15 seconds, though. Like, you can make your own later on, but we don't need it. You can have all your bound stuff up here. I'm good without all of that. And that solves a few issues for me, because it means now I have all of the summons I'm going to need, basically for the rest of the game, and we have a slightly stronger fire spell. We need some extra elements, but that's all good, and means we are in a good position to finish the video. If you have done everything that I've done, like the 2 Iliad Ruins, you've done the recommendation, everything like this, you should be feeling pretty strong. Next up then, if you guys want to go ahead, get ahead of the video or whatever, we'll be heading to Skingrad. You can either fast travel there like you want to, or you can follow me. I'm going to pretty much go across here to this little nipple that we see in the road right here. And along the way, kind of in the middle, but off a little bit, you should find another Iliad ruin over this way. There are quite a few. If you follow the road, there's actually plenty. And if you get close to the town, Breville, there is another one here that actually has another Iliad well on it. So that actually means you can, if you wanted to farm Conjuration, you could probably go there, use the well, expel all of your Conjuration magic, go down here, do a load more Conjuration magic. By the time you travel back up again, most of the day is probably gone, so you can ping between those and power level your Conjuration if you want to, is what I'm saying. I don't recommend stuff like that, but just kind of putting it out there. Either way, in the next one, we are going down to Skingrad, the Skingrad recommendation, and I'll catch you guys soon for that one.